get your popcorn ready as we talk about ball. Angry Cowboys Fan Podcast, and it's on. Get your popcorn ready as we talk about ball. Angry Cowboys Fan Podcast, and it's on. And it's on. And it's on.
What's going on, Cowboys Nation and Angry Cowboys fans around the world? Y'all know who it is. It's your man, the Angry Cowboys Fan, and you're listening to the Angry Cowboys Fan Podcast, the place to find my raw and uncut in podcast form. And Cowboys Nation, do we have a show for you on this beautiful Friday morning? So wherever you are, if you're listening to it at work, getting ready to take your first 15-minute break of the day, or you're at home taking care of things around the house, the Angry Cowboys Fan is here to bring you nothing but that raw and uncut 24/7, 365, and y'all know, as long as I'm alive, I'm DC for life. And in today's episode, I want to holler at y'all about a few different topics that I got. I want to talk to y'all and get feedback about a particular idea that I have for the Angry Cowboys Fan Podcast. We'll be discussing the secondary of the Dallas Cowboys and how the Dallas Cowboys have made contact with their ace in the hole. We'll talk a little bit about the hypocrisy that I've seen in Cowboys Nation when it comes to the weapons that we have on this team. We'll talk about ways this Dallas Cowboys team can stay away from the pitfalls of replicating the 2021 and 2022 NFL seasons in the playoffs here in 2025. All that and more during this Angry Cowboys Fan Podcast. All right, Cowboys Nation, first and foremost, I want to talk to you guys about the Angry Cowboys Fan Podcast schedule. I'm going to be releasing one episode per week. It's going to come out once a week, but I want you to know that if I come out with more episodes during that week, you could just consider it extra episodes. But we will be having one designated episode per week. So make sure you're subbed up to the channel and comment the year you became a Dallas Cowboy fan in the comment section, so I know that you're rocking with the Angry Cowboys Fan Podcast. But Cowboys Nation, when I did that video, I spoke about the different position groups. Well, I brought up the cornerback position and how DaRon Bland was the Dallas Cowboys' only saving grace going into the 2025 NFL season. This is actually a bigger problem than some would have you believe, Cowboys Nation. This is a problem that needs to be addressed as soon as possible heading into training camp. But according to the roster as it sits today, you have DaRon Bland, Kaiir Elam, CJ Goodwin, Josh Butler, and a potential Kalen Carson's healthy going into training camp. Then you have Trayvon Diggs, Siobhan Revel Jr. coming off season-ending injuries. Point being, the Dallas Cowboys need help at that cornerback position to start off our regular season. But I like the ace in the hole that they could potentially have with Stephon Gilmore. Everybody knows Stephon. He played for the team. He is a vet that we could really use in that cornerback room. As every Dallas Cowboy fan saw, Stephon Gilmore was last seen at the Star and nobody knows why he was there. Stephen Jones dismissed it as just another visit from Gilly Rock, but I honestly feel that Gilly is the insurance policy for the Dallas Cowboys unless somebody else comes and snatches him up along the way. And also, I want to talk about these pie-in-the-sky thoughts about trading for Jalen Ramsey. We're not trading for Jalen Ramsey, Cowboys Nation. Trading for Jalen Ramsey is more wishes and Cowboys Nation loading up the grocery cart with stuff that we cannot afford. It's not going to happen, Cowboys Nation. It would be great for the Dallas Cowboys secondary, but it's just not going to happen. It's too expensive. I've also heard the Cowboys have their eyes on Kendall Fuller as well. So Jalen Ramsey might be a little bit out of the Dallas Cowboys price range, but they are looking to improve that position group. That's something that I like to see, Cowboys Nation. But just think. The Dallas Cowboys are looking for a part-time cornerback to give Trayvon Diggs time to potentially heal and get back to full participation. Do you really see Jalen Ramsey sharing snaps with Trayvon Diggs? Not at $16.6 million a year in a cap hit, I don't. If you get Jalen Ramsey, you're getting him to be your go-to cornerback, not a backup, Cowboys Nation. This is why I feel that this trade will not happen. But one thing is for certain. The Dallas Cowboys team needs to correct the issue with the cornerbacks, linebackers, and defensive tackles quick, fast, and in a hurry. They need to fix this issue because we can't go into the 2025 NFL season adding not being able to defend the pass as well as not being able to stop the run, Cowboys Nation. I don't care what quarterback you have. You won't be able to come back from that, so this needs to be treated with a little bit of urgency, with a little bit of aggression, Cowboys Nation. So once again, the positions that I would prioritize after the June 1st cuts are defensive tackle, linebacker, and cornerback. You get some certified dogs in those positions, then the Dallas Cowboys might be a force to be reckoned with for the 2025 NFL season. But Cowboys Nation, that brings me to a segment that I saw on Get Up. The crew invited 2 NBA stars to the show, and of course, they talked about the Dallas Cowboys. The question was asked if they thought that the Dallas Cowboys were going to be playoff contenders this season. So let's go ahead and take a listen to the solo clip that I got for y'all, and then y'all know what we're going to do after that, Cowboys Nation. We're going to come back and unpack this raw and uncut. So, Angry Cowboys fans, let's go ahead and take a listen to what they had to say on the episode of Get Up.
I think the Cowboys are a playoff contender for sure. I think the thing is this, right? Offensively, they could score with anybody. On the defensive side of the ball, have you fixed the run issues? Have you gotten the physicality that you need? DeMarcus Lawrence is gone, and to me, he was the guy that set that tone. Who's going to be that tone setter? The same way you and your brother were always the tone setter on the court, they got to find that guy defensively. Michael Parsons is the star, but who's going to be the dude that bends face masks? On the defensive side of the ball, I believe this team is going to be able to score with anybody in the NFC.
Solomon Thomas, 4 years, $80 million. Dexter Fowler had 13 sacks last year for Redskins. That's how we're going to change it.
He likes it. Chef,
that's how we're going to change it.
The idea that the Cowboys could be slept on is ridiculous considering the attention they get. But the reality is they won 7 games last year, and Dak missed so much of the season. There's every reason to believe with the additions that they've made, Cowboys look like a playoff team this year.
Well, they still have a lot of questions, right? The running game. Devontae Williams, he going to be able to step in and get it done. They added Miles Sanders, the former Philadelphia Eagle. So they have a whole new backfield to go along with a whole new coaching staff. A lot of questions, but the talent is there, and I think they will compete.
That's what I was saying, Cowboys Nation. We have a lot of question marks going into the 2025 NFL season, but let's go ahead and do this. Y'all ready for this raw and uncut? Y'all ready? Let's get it. You know, Cowboys Nation, I've been asked this question many times. Do I think that the Dallas Cowboys will be making it to the 2025 NFL playoffs? And I'm going to continue to give the same answer that I have given since the 2025 NFL draft. I don't know, Cowboys Nation. I really don't know, and I believe that it's premature in giving a prediction. But according to the team that we have on the offensive side of the ball, the Dallas Cowboys look as if they have an offense that can go toe-to-toe and blow for blow with any offensive unit in the league. The only thing I worry about is the defensive side of the ball, being able to stop the run. It's been our Achilles heel for decades, and good quality rushing teams know how to exploit our deficiencies in the run game. Not only do we have a hard time stopping the run, but the entire NFC East is getting better by the minute right before our eyes, and the Dallas Cowboys have to keep up with that pace in order to make it to said playoffs. There have been a number of fans who say that the Dallas Cowboys are behind the Washington Commanders in the NFC East. I personally would beg to differ, seeing that we were able to beat them with our backups last year during the season. It's just the fact that they were able to make it to an NFC championship is why the Dallas Cowboys sit currently behind the Washington Commanders. But the way this current roster looks as of today, the Dallas Cowboys look to have that firepower on the offensive side of the ball while lacking it on the defensive side of the ball. This is why I say the team resembles the 2021, 2022, and 2023 teams. We were able to hang 40 burgers on teams, but we weren't able to stop teams that would run it down our throats. We know this is not going to help us, even if we do make it to the playoffs, so I hope that Jerry and Stephen Jones takes the initiative to continue to add to this team in places that needed to be added to. So as of right now, It's not important for me to make a prediction if the Dallas Cowboys are going to make it to the playoffs this year or not. If we do, we'll get bumped in the wild card or the divisional rounds because our running game has a big question mark surrounding it, and our defense is lacking in the run-stopping department. Dallas Cowboys fans know that we have to have a great rushing attack in order to help the offense strive. Do we have that in Javonte Williams, Miles Sanders, Jadon Blue, Phil Maffa, Deuce Vaughn, or Hunter Lipke? Is the fact the Dallas Cowboys didn't prioritize the run game in the draft yet again going to be the issue that stops us short from achieving Super Bowl success? Honestly, Cowboys Nation, it could be. We all saw how teams with great rushing attacks translated in the playoffs. We witnessed how a great run game affected teams last year. The team with the most sound rushing attack made it further into the playoffs. The way the Dallas Cowboys look in the backfield, it leaves a huge question mark on the question, will we have a rushing attack that can travel and translate in the postseason? But will the Dallas Cowboys make it to the playoffs in the 2025 season? I'm going to say I don't know yet, Cowboys Nation. There are so many things that training camp and preseason is going to bring to us and show us that it would be irresponsible of me to make a playoff prediction right now, especially without knowing what our actual 53-man roster is going to look like. So, Cowboys Nation, how do you feel about the Dallas Cowboys' chances at making it to the playoffs this year? Do you feel that the Dallas Cowboys have what it takes to be a wild card team or even get a first round bye? Y'all know how we do it. We always talk about it in the comment section. All right, Cowboys Nation. I want to talk to y'all about the blatant hypocrisy when it comes to some in Cowboys Nation. When I was making the graphic showing the wide receiver rooms, I came across an article from SI.com saying that CeeDee Lamb surprisingly made a list of veterans poised for a bounce-back year in 2025. This means that they thought CeeDee Lamb didn't have the year that he was supposed to in 2024. I wonder, Cowboys Nation. I wonder why he didn't have the year that he was supposed to last year. Oh, that's right. His QB1 was out for the season after week 9, Cowboys Nation. The reason why I say it's hypocrisy is because I was expecting for those fans who hate Dak Prescott to be absolutely right. That Cooper Rush could come in and lead last year's team to the playoffs. I mean, I was told that any quarterback could lead the Dallas Cowboys team to a playoff appearance. That absolutely wasn't the case last year, was it? Y'all saw firsthand that no matter how good Cooper Rush played, other things got in the way of the Dallas Cowboys winning. Just take the game against the Cincinnati Bengals, for instance. Cooper Rush and the offense did everything that they could to secure that victory. The defense did everything they could to secure that victory. It came down to a block punt by Nick Vigil, and Amani Oruwariye blew the possibility of a victory by touching the damn block punt and not recovering it. Was that Cooper Rush's fault? Was that the offense or the defense's fault? No, Cowboys Nation. It was the fault of the special team not knowing to leave the damn ball alone. But if Dak Prescott played in that game, that loss would have been contributed to him, and y'all know it. But it's funny how those same fans who dislike Dak Prescott will be given a taste of how life is without Dak Prescott at the quarterback position, and they still don't get the hint, Cowboys Nation. Y'all got a taste of it when Andy Dalton came in after Dak Prescott broke his ankle. A losing season, Cowboys Nation. You see how it was when Dak Prescott tore the hamstring off the bone. A losing season, Cowboys Nation. And I know what some are going to say. Some are going to say, well, what about the time that he broke his thumb and Cooper Rush came in and went 4-1? Well, I will rebuttal that with this. Where was that 4-1 last year, Cowboys Nation? If CeeDee Lamb could eat with any quarterback, why is Pro Football Focus talking about CeeDee Lamb having a bounce-back year? Let me guess, Cowboys Nation. Cooper Rush didn't have all of his weapons, right? Cooper Rush only had CeeDee Lamb as a weapon last year, right? Man, y'all got to make it make sense. But also, while we're on this topic, how come y'all gave Cooper Rush all these praises for beating teams that y'all considered tomato cans when Dak Prescott beat them? Leave it to some Cowboys fans to put these crazy expectations on an undrafted free agent. We know how that goes, don't we, Tony Romo? But I'm going to take this one step further for you, Angry Cowboys fan family. I'm going to say that Dak Prescott has been one of the reasons why our Dallas Cowboys stay making the playoffs, giving this organization numerous chances at a playoff run. His connection to CeeDee Lamb and Jake Ferguson, his leadership on and off the field, his ability to read defenses and adjust at the line of scrimmage. And I know some of the haters are going to say that Dak Prescott doesn't know how to read defenses, but they can't show a shred of evidence supporting that claim. It's just, what's Dak's record in the playoffs? As if Dak isn't the person trying to lead the team you root for to a championship. God almighty, you got to make it make sense, Cowboys Nation. But I will tell you this. Jerry and Stephen Jones are making moves to put a great offense around Dak Prescott, but you have some fans that are saying Dak Prescott has no excuses now, as if they don't see the glaring holes in the middle of our defense. This is why I make the comparisons to the 2021 and 2022 Dallas Cowboys teams. I warn Cowboys Nation of our fate if Jerry and Stephen Jones don't correct the issues on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, I know it's a part of the quarterback's job to mask deficiencies when it comes to the teams, but how can y'all expect him, or any other quarterback for that matter, to mask the fact that your defense can't stop a nosebleed? This is what I mean by everything and everyone clicking at the same time. On the same frequencies, Cowboys Nation. You can't have your quarterback balling while your wide receiver continues to drop the ball. I'm not saying that CeeDee Lamb had a case of the dropsies, even though he had a case of the dropsies last year. You can't have your offensive line creating huge gaps, but only having your running back choose the wrong gaps to be exploited. Your defense can't be opportunistic while your offense continues to go 3 and out or give up interceptions, Dak Prescott. It's all about teamwork. Teamwork makes the dream work, Cowboys Nation. Working as a unit, moving as a unit, and not 53 individuals. Hashtag 53 brands. But in order for this Dallas Cowboys team to get anything done, it needs to move as a unit. It needs to move as one, from the front office to the coaching staff to the players as well as the training staff. They all have to be 100% invested mentally, physically, emotionally, and financially. The front office has to be willing to give Brian Schottenheimer more authority over the player personnel than they did Mike McCarthy. Brian Schottenheimer and crew are going to have to come up with a playbook which matches the identity they're trying to shoot for. Craft a scheme that pulls out each player's strengths. They have to be able to adapt and adjust when necessary and hold players to account when they need to be held to account. All this has to be done before any player is involved, Cowboys Nation. But do I have faith in Brian Schottenheimer getting all these things done? I don't have full trust in him, but he's convincing me with each passing day. With each press conference or each interview he does, he continues to give me hope for this upcoming season. Some people call it drinking the Kool-Aid. I call it having faith in your team the way a true fan has faith in their team. But, Angry Cowboys fan family, what do you think about my take of the hypocrisy of some in Cowboys Nation? Believe me, I could bring up even more examples, but I don't want to keep y'all here for 3 hours. But y'all know how we do it. We always talk about it in the comment section. Now, as we move along in this week's episode of the Angry Cowboys Fan Podcast, I gotta touch base on a few pitfalls the Dallas Cowboys need to avoid in order to make a statement this upcoming season. The first pitfall for the Dallas Cowboys is actually for Cowboys Nation, and that's giving up too quick. Some in Cowboys Nation have a tendency of giving up too early. Like if we go to Lincoln Financial Field to face the Philadelphia Eagles and we lose, then the season's going to be a wash. Dak Prescott sucks and we're never going to make it to a Super Bowl in our lifetime. One thing that I do expect from this team is bugs at the beginning of the season. Everyone knows that the first game of the regular season is really the fourth game of the preseason with the starters playing the entire game. Why not allow the starters to get a jump on the season and allow them to play the majority of the snaps in preseason games? This way they can work on their timing and their rhythm in a live game. It won't be against the defensive starters, but it will be getting the offense ready to go to Philly to face the Philadelphia Eagles, the defending Super Bowl champions. There's nothing like having a leg up on your opponent, Cowboys Nation. So I really think the Dallas Cowboys need to consider playing their starters, whether it's the first half or the second half in each one of the preseason games, so they can get a leg up on the Philadelphia Eagles. But another pitfall is Brian Schottenheimer being yet another Jason Garrett. I know that Jason Garrett is not beloved within Cowboys Nation, but he is within the Dallas Cowboys organization. My fear is that Brian Schottenheimer will slip into that Jason Garrett role and just be the players' friends and not their coach. Don't get it twisted. I love Brian Schottenheimer's approach when it comes to the team and relationship building, but I just don't want it to be taken as the players can get away with anything they want to. This is why I like the locker room change to put the leaders together. This is why I liked when Brian Schottenheimer told the team to stand up after they had just sat down. It was to establish dominance. I hope Brian Schottenheimer continues to assert said dominance throughout his tenure as the Dallas Cowboys head coach. Another pitfall I see that could potentially set the Dallas Cowboys back is not being able to scheme George Pickens into this offense. Well, Cowboys Nation, it's been on the record that Mike McCarthy didn't know how to properly use Brandon Cooks to the best of his ability. This is why Cooks wasn't able to crack 1,000 yards during his stay with the Dallas Cowboys. It wasn't the fact that Dak couldn't read defenses. It wasn't the fact that Dak wasn't accurate. It wasn't the fact that Dak struggles with his progressions, all which are lies, though, Cowboys Nation. It was the fact that Mike McCarthy didn't know how to use Brandon Cooks or the majority of the weapons on the Dallas Cowboys team. Big Mike didn't know how to use a lot of the weapons the Dallas Cowboys had at their disposal during his tenure as the Dallas Cowboys head coach. This is why you would see Kevontae Turpin have a 65-yard house call but not be used again in the same game. This is why Deuce Vaughn hadn't been a factor in our rushing attack because our head coach didn't know how to scheme him into the game. With Brian Schottenheimer, I feel it would be different while also being the same, if that makes any type of sense, Cowboys Nation. I believe Schotty has the wisdom to create a scheme that involves more than one wide receiver. The dig route out of the play action comes to mind. Having your speedster take the top off the defense while freeing up a 10-yard dig route. Something as simple as that, Big Mike struggled with. Seeing a play that destroyed our opponents and implementing it into our scheme against said opponents is something that Big Mike didn't do, but I know Brian Schottenheimer does. So, this pitfall can easily be avoided if Brian Schottenheimer continues to stick to the script and stay physical, dominant, and violent. And speaking of Brian Schottenheimer real quick, Cowboys Nation, I understand that we don't have those premium backs from the draft like Travion Henderson or Ashton Genty or Quinshon Judkins, but I hope with the help of Clayton Adams, Conor Riley, and our offensive line that our running backs can produce numbers like Travion Henderson or Quinshon Judkins. I want our rushing attack to be that rushing attack that teams cannot stop. Even if they try to stop it, they can't stop. When you have a rushing attack like that, coupled with two dogs at wide receiver 1 and wide receiver 2, a nice wide receiver 3, and a dog at the tight end position, our offense should be able to return to those 40-burger days, Cowboys Nation. But the last pitfall I don't want our Dallas Cowboys to continue to fall in is the pitfall of looking forward. Cowboys Nation has a tendency of looking ahead, whether it's looking ahead in the regular season or looking ahead in the playoffs. The entire organization has a tendency to look past opponents, and we all know what happens when we look past opponents. We also have a tendency on playing down to the level of our opponents. Those are the things that don't need to happen, Cowboys Nation. With the level of competition our Dallas Cowboys have this year, there's no way we should be able to look past any team. I don't care if it's the New York Giants, the New York Jets, or the Carolina Panthers. I don't want us looking past anyone thinking that it's going to be an easy win. Just like our Dallas Cowboys, each team we faced this season had the same opportunity as our Dallas Cowboys did to better their roster for the 2025 NFL season. Just because a team was busted last year doesn't mean that we'll see the same team show up this year. We have to be ready and prepared for anything and any team that we face, Cowboys Nation. We have to be ready to face Saquon Barkley while also containing Jalen Hurts. We have to be ready to stop Patrick Mahomes while limiting Isaiah Pacheco's rushing yards. The schedule that we have this season is filled with playoff teams from last year. A great opportunity to sharpen our skills and prepare for a potential playoff berth. If you're playing potential playoff teams the entire season, it won't be a shell shock once you get to the playoffs. That's if we make it to the playoffs, which brings me to another quick topic, and that's what I feel would constitute a successful season with this iteration of the Dallas Cowboys. I see a lot of Dallas Cowboys fans continue to put high expectations on this 2025 team. Even though we had a rough year last year, that doesn't stop some in Cowboys Nation to put NFC Championship expectations on this team. I'm not going to say that it can't be done because Jimmy Johnson turned a team who was 1-15 around to a Super Bowl champion 3 years later, so I know it can be done, Cowboys Nation. I just can't see myself putting all that expectation on a first-time head coach who will also be calling plays, Cowboys Nation. Our stars in Micah Parsons, CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott, Jake Ferguson, Deron Bland, Trayvon Diggs, DeMarvion Overshown, Sam Williams, Marshawn Nealon, and a whole list of others dealt with lingering injuries last year. Some were able to return to the field of play while others had to rehab the remainder of the season. Expecting NFC championships from those guys seems to be a bit much, don't you think, Cowboys Nation? So we're getting injured players back. We drafted injured players, hoping said injured players can get back on the horse and play without missing a beat. Well, Cowboys Nation, everyone's not DeMarvion Overshown and attacks their rehab with the same intensity that he does. Some may suffer from lasting effects of that injured body part. These are things that we don't know. So how can we all place these expectations on these players when we don't know if they have faith in the injured body part that they injured? If they'll be the same type of player once they've been cleared to return to the field of play. We thought Michael Gallup would be the same type of player when he returned. Spoiler alert, he wasn't. But if I had to put an expectation on this team, I would put the expectation of going out there and doing better than what they did last year. Our official record was 7-10. I feel the Dallas Cowboys have to go out there and do better than 7-10 during the first year of Shotty's tenure. If you can make it to the playoffs, I feel we'll be ahead of schedule when it comes to my hopes for the Brian Schottenheimer regime within these 4 years. So, if the Dallas Cowboys can have a bounce back year and make it to the playoffs, I would consider that a successful first year. This way, Brian Schottenheimer can see what it took to get to that point, add to the team while trimming less talented players off the team, and hitting year 2 with a better knowledge and better understanding with better talent to get past the first round of the playoffs. And I get it, Cowboys Nation. We're the Dallas Cowboys. We should expect nothing but the best. We should be expecting the Super Bowl. Real talk, Cowboys Nation. Why should we? It's not like we've been getting there for the past 30 years. We have only been to the divisional round, divisional and done. We need to start focusing on the divisional round and getting past that. The more y'all put expectations of the NFC Championship on our Dallas Cowboys, the more disappointed you'll be when we don't get to the NFC Championship. So, Cowboys Nation, for your own sanity, temper your expectations. All right, Angry Cowboys fan family. I want to talk to y'all about the idea that I have for the Angry Cowboys Fan Podcast. Now, when I first started the Angry Cowboys Fan Podcast, I wanted it to be more about the Dallas Cowboys, of course, but I also wanted to cover the entire NFL, giving my raw and uncut about things that's happening around the league, not only with our Dallas Cowboys, but with the other 31 teams of the league. Would that be something that y'all would be interested in, Cowboys Nation? We would have our usual Angry Cowboys fan videos that I would release. I'll continue to go live, but I would also incorporate topics that included different teams around the leagues. Y'all let me know if this is something that y'all would be interested in, or do you just want me to keep it strictly Dallas Cowboys? Y'all go ahead and let me know in the comments section. But y'all know what time it is right now. Y'all know what time it is. It's the mailbag time. It's time to check out a couple comments from the comments section. The first comment comes from Corsair F2G. The comment reads, "Angry, you're drinking the Kool-Aid way too much. Talking like this new team is going to play like a veteran 2021 team. Hell, man, this team has not even played one preseason game. The opponents this year will test this team's talent just to be in the game with a chance to win. All right, Corsier. If I'm pronouncing your name correctly, I apologize if I'm not. But, hey, if having faith, if having hope in your team is drinking the Kool-Aid, then I guess I be that. But the reason why I compare it to the 2021 team is the fact that we had a pretty damn good offense, but we still couldn't stop the run on defense. And where did we go in the 2021 season? I believe we got bumped in the divisional round, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, it might have been the wild card, but I have to look back at the history. But the thing is, for the 2021 season, we were able to score 40 burgers. We were able to score 50 burgers. We were able to have 31.2 points on average per game. And I believe this is going to be the same thing for this year with our offense. Our offense is going to be juggernauts. We got two dogs at the wide receiver position. Right now, there's a question mark in the backfield, but I believe that if Jadon Blue gets in a rhythm, he'll be our running back one toward the middle of the season. But right now, it's Javonte Williams, so hopefully he can get in a rhythm. But the thing is, back in 2021, we had serviceable backs in Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard. Right now, we're going to do the same thing, running back by committee with serviceable backs in Jadon Blue and Javonte Williams, Deuce Vaughn, Hunter Lipke, Phil Maffa, and all those guys is going to be running back by committee, serviceable running backs like we had in 2021. And another problem that we had in 2021, guess what? We couldn't stop the run, just like we couldn't stop the run last year, and we probably won't be able to stop the run in 2025 unless Jerry and Stephen Jones are selectively aggressive in stopping the run. They gotta stop the run. But this is why I compare this year to 2021. So if you feel me, you feel me. If you don't, I understand. I get where you're coming from, but I hope that you get where I'm coming from. But I appreciate the comment. I truly thank you for the comment. Thank you for being DC for life. And thank you for rocking with the Angry Cowboys Fan YouTube channel. But jumping into the next comment, this comment is from Eric Wallace 9346. The comment says, I don't know how, but Dallas has me excited again. Listen, Eric, I know exactly where you're coming from. Last year, it wasn't sweet. It wasn't nice. There was nothing exciting about last year. Now that we've gotten through, free agency, we've gotten through the draft, we're going into the post-June 1st cuts, and we get to see who's available there, going into mandatory OTAs and stuff. It's getting exciting. It's pulling us back in, Cowboys Nation. It's getting us to buy in. And everything that Brian Schottenheimer and crew has said has gotten me to buy back in. The movements that Jerry and Stephen Jones are making has gotten me to buy back in. The fact that CeeDee Lamb loves the fact that George Pickens is here, it has me buying back in. The fact that we got Tyler Booker in the draft and Donovan Ezeraku in the draft, that has me buying back in. Man, Eric, I am bought back in. I cannot wait to see what the 53 active roster looks like, who we will have on this team, who will be in our backfield, who we will have at the cornerback and linebacker position, if we're going to go out to get a defensive tackle. All this stuff has me pulled back in. It has me drinking the Kool-Aid, but we drinking the Kool-Aid when we're DC for life? Real talk. It just makes no sense to me, Cowboys Nation. If you're DC for life, how can you drink the Kool-Aid? Because I'm drinking the Kool-Aid 24/7, 365. But Eric Wallace, I truly appreciate the comment. Truly appreciate you rocking with the Angry Cowboys fan. Truly appreciate you rocking and being DC for life. But this has been your man, the Angry Cowboys fan. Thank you all for tuning in to another episode of the Angry Cowboys Fan Podcast. I appreciate y'all giving me your time and rocking with the channel. But what do y'all feel about the topics that I covered in this episode? Do you have expectations for our Dallas Cowboys? And if so, what are they? Y'all know how we do it. We always talk about it in the comment section. If you're digging this content and want to help the Angry Cowboys fan reach the milestone of 10,000 subscribers before the start of training camp, drop a like on this video. It helps push us to the algorithm and gets us even more Dallas Cowboys traffic to the channel. If you are DC for life and you love the content that I bring to Cowboys Nation, hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell to be notified whenever I go live, release a video, podcast episode, film breakdown, or Madden 25 or College Football 25 gameplay. And I want to take this time to thank each and every person that sent a prayer up to God for my brother Rick. He's a fighter. He's a fighter, and he's continuing the fight to regain his speech and to get back home happy and healthy. If I can get up the money, I'm going to be going back down to North Carolina in July to be with him. Hey, if you would want to help and you'd like to donate to that cause, you can donate to the Cash App. I'll put the link to it in the description. But this has been your man, the Angry Cowboys fan. I love you, Cowboys Nation, and I'm out. Dang, Angry Cowboys fan, you done made it through the entire video. But if you want more content, you can definitely go to this video right here. Or if you want the latest episode of the Angry Cowboys Fan Podcast, you can go right here. But whatever you do, like, share, and subscribe to the channel, but remain DC for life.